Well, good morning and a very warm welcome to Östersund for the Youth Women's 9 km Mass Start 60 event here at the Swedish National Biathlon Arena. The Mass Start 60, one of the most exciting up and coming events where there are so many opportunities for names even outside of that top 30 to secure their place on a podium. A format which has seldom been seen on the screens, but whenever it has drawn very much excitement. And today we have a full rota of events for you to look forward to, with the youth men's 12K mass start to follow, and then the junior women's and the junior men's thereafter, all occurring today. As Alice Dusseret of France, wearing bib number 12 today. Their bib numbers corresponding to the amount of points that they have accrued at this Youth World Championship so far in all of their races combined. Tanglander, her sprint position in 4th. And mass mixed relay 12th, but 46th in the individual. So that 4th place really carrying her up the leaderboard. Plechikova, here's our bib number 1 today. And Ilona Plechikova is certainly going to want to replicate her victory in the individual. That was with 3 misses, so we can expect her to be pushing the pace. And you can see also there Putso of Ukraine just getting ready, bib number 20. Liska of Poland. Consistent results, 4th in the individual and 7th in the sprint. And now they are getting ready in the warm-up pen, where they will be revising in their minds for those who haven't run this competition on a regular basis. And let me get you up to speed for those who aren't quite sure. In the Mass Start 60, there are 6 laps rather than the usual 5 in a 4-shoot sequence. Prone, prone, stand, stand. And the top 30 biathletes today will complete 1.5 kilometers. Then they will shoot, and then they will complete 3 kilometers and shoot their next prone. However, the 30 to 60 bibs will compete 3K loop, shoot, and then they will do a 1.5 kilometer loop. All 60 athletes then having done 4.5 kilometers, just having attended the shooting range at a slightly different time, meaning that come the second prone shoot, the order will be completely synchronized, and they will continue thereafter in a pursuit format. All 4 magazines needing to be checked. All 6 spares are in the rifle, but no spares are actually allowed to be used in this event. And if they miss any targets, they have to go around a 150-meter penalty loop. Now let's take a look at the race course. A total elevation of 363 meters, and this is the 1.5 kilometer loop. So remember, bibs 31 to 60 will be going around this twice before coming in to shoot for their first time. And look at that. There's no wind to be spoken of today. The air temperature is 3 degrees, the snow temperature around about 0. But that doesn't mean an awful lot, because the snow is very broken up today, to such an extent that actually they are salting the tracks to create a firm surface upon which these biathletes can ski over.
So it can be quite heavy in the tracks. That's it.
Ilona Plechikova is your bib number 1 today, in order of who has achieved the most points at this championship so far. And that will go all the way down, excluding, of course, the fact that some people have withdrawn from the start list, not wanting to do this race for whatever reason, could be health. And Melina Gaup there of Germany wearing bib 23. Let's expect to see her climbing the order. The same also can be said for Horstad of Norway. And even further down there we see Wusling and Gondolo of Germany and Italy, both very capable of climbing up the ranks. And it's a tactical race today, because the first biathlete to come into the shooting range, bibs 1 to 30, as we see 3 Brits there making it into the top 60. The first biathletes that come into the shooting range have the opportunity of pacing themselves with the full group of 60, but as soon as they go down onto the mat, they don't know what speed the group behind them have gone at, and that does mean that tactics are at play. They can risk taking it easy, or they have to push the pace, and something tells me we will see a lot of pace pushing today. Bib number 5, we have Manka Keserman of Slovenia. The individual getting a bronze medal with 3 penalties, so is skiing incredibly fast. And now Louisa Rougeau, very consistent, 2 top 10s and a silver medal to her name, and a bronze in the mixed relay. But Ilona Plechakova, probably the favorite for today, wearing bib number 1. And Martina Skog, she is going to be trying to do everything fair within her power to undo the chances of the Czechian. Carlotta Quatero, the Italian, who had a really wonderful individual race, hitting 18 out of 20 targets, and less, unfortunately, could be said for her efforts in the sprint, finishing in 56th place. But still, that second place giving her a lot of power and rising her up onto the first rank here in this Mass Start 60 competition. Only 1 minute remaining until we're going to get underway here for the Youth Women's 9-kilometer Mass Start. 6 laps, and that is a new format, or a format that has recently been introduced by the IBU, and that hopefully is going to be featuring more. And as you will see, it comes with so much excitement. And now the nerves are going to be high, and the excitement is going to be high. 60 athletes getting around this narrow track at places, and you'll be able to observe the Constantina effect take place at the base of hills. And they are off. The Youth Women's 9-kilometer Mass Start 60 event gets underway, as all 60 of these athletes who have earned their spot in this competition are now going to be jostling for a position around this track, which is going to get congested, is going to get tactical, and it's going to be a lot of fun for us spectators who get to see just how psychologically demanding this competition can be. Great Britain there, 3 suits all on your screen, and that's a great sight to see. They've done very well, led by the coaches there in Östersund, as we see the first and arguably one of the steepest hills being contended with by these biathletes. And it is a very steep pace. Plechakova there at the front, really leading that firm pace. It doesn't surprise me. She had the fastest course time in the sprint and in the individual, by 50 seconds in the individual, but only by 0.1 seconds in the sprint. Rougeau being the second fastest skier in that case. And another thing that's so exciting about these youth events is the fact that in the top 30 in the individual and sprint combined, we have 25 different names. That is rare sight to see, and it makes it very hard to predict. Look at that gap that's slightly opening now down to Adzamova of Bulgaria, who is pacing herself a little bit alongside Menela of Finland. And perhaps that is sensible. Look at how the field is being strung out around these quick technical corners. It's a very, very short lap now that they're going round, and you will see the effect of that short lap. Only 1.5 kilometers as they skip up this short, sharp hill. And take a look at the latter positions here. And the disadvantage, of course, being that if you start bib 60, you automatically are some 15 seconds behind just by virtue of your start position. It's not like the pursuit. However, because this pursuit sees biathletes start minutes behind. And this means that those who don't have the favor of starting in the early 10s and 20s do stand a chance of winning this competition. It requires good shooting, but Plechikova, she is leading this one, and that doesn't surprise anybody. 2 days in a row, individual races with the fastest time. Guattero of Italy in second position, and Krysova of Czechia in third, 2.4 seconds back off her teammate. And Bouchot of France is settling down in fourth place. So just to remind you now, they will go onto the lane that corresponds with their bib number. If you are bib 17, you will go for the first shoot onto lane 17. If you are bib 37, then you will go onto lane 7. And that will not be on this first visit to the shooting range. 3 kilometers are required to be conducted first by bibs 1 to 30. And take a look now at those wearing bibs 33, for example, now will be settling down on lane 3. The IBU taking their prerogative to set the slower skiers off onto the shooting range first, which is done for the purpose of minimizing risk of the congestion on the range as a result of the slower skiers and the disparity of ski speed. But looking at the shooting range now, we can see Wüstling of Germany has got 4 targets, or 4 rounds fired, now all 5, but has missed 2 of those targets. And we can see Morton of Australia, having hit 4 out of 5 so far, is shooting very well and misses the last shot. Clifford of Great Britain, could she be one of the first to go 5 for 5? She misses the last one as Gondolo of Italy goes clear all 5. Now we're looking at the range here on the right of our screen while the top 30 continue. And that's Cadell. We're not sure which Cadell, as the 2 sisters are both racing. She goes clear as well. And I can report back that not many have shot clear at the end of that first shoot. And now as we get to the 1.5 kilometer mark, Adzamova of Bulgaria is the last of the group that we see here on our screens, the top 30. But the first to come out of the shooting range to cross the 1.5 is Gondolo of Italy, 1 minute 14 back, but of course she has been in the shooting range. And then the next to come out is Iona Cadell of Great Britain, shooting very well, getting all the targets down, and is only 8 seconds back behind the Italian. Franske of Australia, she is just behind the Brit and ahead of Kafka of Switzerland. So the top 30 now are going up the final incline before they can go downhill all the way into the shooting range. All bibs 31 to 60 now are going to be going around the 3 kilometer. So that's the 2 laps that you're just seeing done by bibs 1 to 30. And you may be wondering, why are bibs 31 to 60 shooting first? Well, the reason is, if you imagine some of these extremely fast athletes such as Plechikova, had she shot and come out of the range some 44 seconds behind, as is the case for Gondolo behind bib number 26, she might be able to catch up and get into the back of that group and might be held back, her race affected. And so that adjustment is at the liberty of the IBU to make that decision. And that's the decision they made today at this youth event. Now Tang Lander, one of the fastest skiers in both the individual and the sprints. 4th in the sprint, 2nd in the individual. She's taking the early lead, but really relaxing into the range and allowing Ida of Norway to come past. Peugeot of France, she is there, Plechikova's there. And Tang Lander will go on to lane number 13, Ida onto 16. Plechikova has to get herself all the way to lane 1, and that creates a few seconds of difference between when they can get the first shot down. And now we can see the biathletes settling down onto the mats head to head, creating a very difficult dynamic psychologically as Ida and Gaup both get 2 targets down. The first 2 shots fired and hit. Gaup and Ida still having not missed a single target. We have a miss from Peugeot of France. Perrine, she has missed, and Im Winkelried of Switzerland is yet to miss a target. She goes 5 for 5. So has Dussera, 5 for 5. Tyrschman of Canada also matching that exceptional shooting. Tonrud of Norway, 5 out of 5. Larsson of Sweden also getting the 5. Richaud, one of our fastest skiers, she's gone clear. And Alice Dussera of France, the first to come out of the shooting range. And now Gaup of Germany in 3rd position. Richaud of France in 4th. Tronrud there from Norway. And lots of clear shooting today. Tyrschman of Canada doing fantastically well. Of course, she was a part of that really successful Canadian team, taking leg 2 on that occasion. They came 4th place. Yes, I'm mentioning that again. What a great result that was again for the Canadians. Now, those who have done a penalty loop are exiting chute 1. And these are preliminary times. Of course, we do have 1st place right now for Dussera, but it is conceivable that that time is going to get beaten by some of these biathletes who you see coming through now in the distance. And they've already shot 1, and I believe that Josie Clifford there, or at least it looked like it, might have been one of the Cadell sisters in 1st place of that chasing group. But now up at the front of this race, everybody has now shot 5 rounds down in the prone. And that means where they stand on the order is where they are currently placed. Dussera is winning this race and has a 2.1 second lead at the end of shooting 1 ahead of Cotero, but that gap has closed over the course of this hill. A leading group of 4 now, with Richaud managing to utilize her incredibly fast ski speed over this championship and her double medalist performances over this championship to get herself on the heels of Gaup, who now is leading this group of 4. And everybody in that top group of 4 has, in their own right in an individual competition, won a medal, with Rochot claiming that in the sprint with her silver, and Guerrero with a silver in the individual. Skog with a victory in the sprint, hitting all 10 targets. And then 2 medals, one in the individual, one in the sprint for Ilona Petrikova of Czechia. But chasing them down, Tronrud of Norway. She is skiing incredibly fast. And had the 15th fastest ski time, a whole 1 minute and 53 seconds back behind Petrikova in the individual. And that's a great way of getting a little bit of perspective on the differences of ski speeds and how it can affect these results. But form can be really undulating day by day. So these biathletes now will be receiving information about their shoot. It's a little bit tricky for the support staff on the shooting range to look through the scope at everybody's targets at the same time. But nevertheless, it is very possible to do so with the benefit of teamwork. So they enter the shooting range now. Altogether, it's essentially a pursuit format henceforth, and all 60 will filter in on the mat according to their position. Gaup on lane 1, Guerrero of Italy on lane 2. Tronrud deciding to get ahead of Rochot, closing that gap. She's worked hard. And let's take a look at the Norwegians' targets. Guerrero, the first biathlete to miss here today. Dussera, on the other hand, she's not missed a single target so far. Gaup misses her 4th shot. Dussera goes 5 out of 5 as Tronrud and Rochot are shooting in synchronization, but not having missed any so far. Tronrud goes clear, receiving a cheer from the crowd. Rochot misses her last shot, painfully so, as Larsson of Sweden misses also the last shot. Mikolasova, having done so well of late, she goes 5 for 5. Same with Liska of Poland. And Mariotti Cavane of Italy goes clear. Baumann goes clear. Lots of clear shooting now. And some of those early shooters from bibs 31 to 60 now coming into the lanes that correspond with their bib numbers. Subel, she goes clear, but leading at the end of shoot number 2. Alice Dussera of France has an 8-second advantage over Norwegian Tronrud. And now Skog of Norway, the gold medalist. She has gone 5 out of 5. Germata of Poland, 5 out of 5. Gaup is still in the top 4, and that's after shooting number 2, having missed 1 target. Liska in 5th place, 28 seconds back, but she hasn't missed. And now we're seeing the remaining biathletes in this mass start 60 filtering into the shooting range. And Spitalar of Slovenia there, missing 4 out of 5. Atamova of Bulgaria, she misses 4 out of 5. It's not a good day when you've added 600 meters of skiing to your 900-meter penalty, or 9 kilometer already course distance. But look at this, here's your leader now up at the front, Dussera, deciding to put her foot on the gas and open up that lead ahead of Tronrud of Norway, who's hunting her down. And Mikolasova is on the chase as well. Mikolasova has had some really fantastic ski speeds, the 3rd fastest, as a matter of fact, in the individual, and is one to watch out for, but has struggled a little bit on the shooting range. Being a little bit harsh there, considering in the sprint competition she ranked 12th, having missed just 2. But Mikolasova skiing the 9th fastest ski time on that occasion. But there she is, you can see her, the third back of this group. All very evenly matched in terms of their ski speed. And now, again, more information coming from the support staff, the team members. But the information that isn't required is where the shots landed. They can make an adjustment after pro number 1 and respond to any misses or faults in their zero, but after that they have to fend for themselves. Now, Rochot of France, 21.8 seconds back, one of today's favorites, and rightly wearing bib number 4. You can essentially ascertain their rank or their projected result today just by taking a look at their bib number. That's their total points accrued over the course of this championship and hence their start number. Shevchenko of Ukraine now 44.8 seconds back, and Shihas of Ukraine 1 place behind her teammate. Subel of Croatia being chased by Skog of Norway. Now Skog, having missed 2, is working hard to close down some of the time she lost as a result of her poor shooting. But now taking a look to see if anyone outside the top 30 is beginning to close in, and the first among them is Wusling of Germany, and that's despite having missed 3 targets. The next outside the top 30, we did have Kafka, that's exiting the shooting range. But here now, as we turn to the lead of this race, Alice Dussere is coming in for her second last visit and her first shoot in stand position. She misses the first shot. Accompanies that miss with a second miss. Lots of misses now from the 3 leaders. Dussere having a nightmare. The same can be said for Tronrud. Dussere missing 4 out of 5. This is pretty much unheard of. The 3 leaders really having a meltdown. Tronrud with 3 misses. Mika Lasova, she's got 3 misses. Gaup of Germany seizing the opportunity after some early errors in the prone. She goes 4 out of 5. And Rochot, with her fantastic average shooting over the course of this championship, she goes 5 for 5. And Ida of Norway, she misses her last shot, failing to seize the opportunity. Same with Larson, as Louise Rochot of France comes out past the checkpoint, exiting shoot number 3. Siegmund of Germany goes clear. Skog, the gold medalist, ×2, she goes clear. Plechikova of Czechia, she goes clear. As Tierschmann, the Canadian, is looking like the next possibility for the 5 out of 5. She doesn't get it, missing the last shot, but Gaup in second place, exiting shoot 3. And Siegmund, teammate also from Germany, in 3rd position. Skog now back in a position of strength. She's missed 2 targets so far today, 35 seconds back, but has the advantage of being on the heels of Plechikova, the fastest skier here at this championships, and they will undoubtedly be working together now to close down the gap on the leader Rochot of France. And you can see that distance there, even though it is foreshortened by the lens. And still the shooting range being occupied by chasing biathletes. And Putsko of Ukraine hitting 5 out of 5 there. Morton also joining her for the perfect 5 out of 5. Morton enjoying these mass start events, being very good at handling the pressure on the shooting range. As the Cadell sisters are both now in the shooting range side by side. That adds a different psychological component with Josie Clifford joining her, just 2 positions away. The Brits doing very well, as well as the Canadians and Australians. And now on the hunt Bib number 22 there, the Ukrainian. We're going to see how Skog and Plechikova manage now, whether they've closed that time, 34 seconds back off this leader now, Ruchot, who's just on our screens. She came in with a cool head, and despite coming in onto lane number 5, held it together sufficiently well to get those targets down, but we saw a complete meltdown. Dussere, she missed many targets. Unfortunately, all 4, or I say all 4, she missed 4 targets. And now Ruchot has created a gap and increased her gap of 26 seconds, now ahead of Gaup of Germany. Sigismund of Germany 37 seconds back, and that is after having left the range 25 seconds down. She's lost time, so Ruchot, clearly enjoying the adrenaline of the moment, has really opened up her lead. And Sigismund, she's been skiing well, she's been performing well. That silver medal in the mixed relay, part of that successful team. But Baumann of Switzerland has a chance of doing well today. Kaserman of Slovakia, equally high in my estimations. But anything can happen. We saw so many misses from the leading 3 on the previous visit, but this is the biggest moment so far of this championship for Louisa Ruchot. The last visit in stand. All eyes are on her. She's shooting now for the victory, and the first 2 targets have gone down, and gone down easily. The first miss, and it is completed with a hit. 4 out of 5. Only 1 mistake for Ruchot, meaning 150 meters of penalty, but also meaning that Gaup has an opportunity to close the gap. Gaup now with 4 out of 5. And she misses the last shot. We've seen it so many times at this championship, but Gaup is not going to close the gap, leaving open the door now for Plechikova to potentially close down that gap. She goes 5 for 5, and so does Sigismund, and Skog missing her last shot. So now Sigismund is going to be on the chase. Plechikova, she is going to be on the chase, and when Louisa Ruchot finds out that the fastest skier on this track is only 10 seconds behind her, she knows that she has got trouble. That could be the top 3 medal positions that you're looking at right there, but it all comes down to Gaup, whether she can produce something special on the skis. We certainly know she's got the potential to do so, but today Gaup is consistently about 8 seconds back on every single lap. Plechikova, on the other hand, she is your fastest skier today, with Ruchot being up there as well. They're pretty much evenly matched. So now Plechikova, second place on your screen as you see it, is hunting down the leader, Louisa Ruchot, on the right-hand side, and the centermost part of your screen. The gap is going to be getting tighter and tighter, and the pressure is on. As we can also see, Gaup of Germany, she's trying to close the gap on Sigismund, having missed 2 extra targets than her teammate, and that indicating that Gaup is skiing significantly faster and is going for her first individual medal of this championship. She failed to do so in the individual, and she failed to do so in the sprint. And with the mixed relay silver medal around her neck, she's going to want to depose her teammate. She'll, of course, feel saddened by the fact that it is her teammate. But this is biathlon. So much remains unanswered, as the ski speed is going to be the determining factor now as Plechikova rounds this big left-hander. It's looking like she is running out of track, but it's also looking like Plechikova has not lost too much time to the Czechian biathletes. You can see some of these lapped biathletes now just trying to stay ahead as Ruchot, wearing bib 4, is approaching the checkpoint. She crosses it. 26:42 is the leading time to the 8.4K, 600 meters to go. And now this is a plot twist. Plechikova, she's been skiing fantastically, but has been caught by Sigismund, who does not want to let Gaup catch up with her. So now, could it be that Plechikova's silver medal position is compromised? And could this mean that Ruchot is now skiing for the victory today in this women's youth 9 kilometer mass start 60? Sigismund making a dash past Plechikova, taking the optimal position in the lead over the course of this final downhill. Here is the finishing straight. We're going to watch Ruchot claim the victory. What a fantastic race from the French lady as she punches the air across the finish line. And Plechikova now peeling onto the left-hand side of our screens to come side by side with Sigismund of Germany, but Sigismund claiming the silver medal, and a fantastic last lap as they collapse in agony. There is your top 3, your medalists, as Gaup equally pleased with her 4th position and will be delighted for Sigismund. And now Baumann having a fantastic race. A sprint finish there from Wuslung and Skog, both having missed a few more than they would have liked, with 4 mistakes there from Wuslung, as in Winkelried of Switzerland, she crosses the line in 8th position with Gattero of Italy, who started on the 1st rank, crossing in 9th. Eide of Norway and Larsen of Sweden in 10th and 11th. And it really was a day for the sharp shooters. Ruchot only missing 2 targets. That's despite all of that pressure, and one of those misses coming from the final visit to the shooting range. Tronrud of Norway missing 4 and 1 minute 24 seconds down on the lead. Shevchenko of Ukraine in behind, but Germata hitting the perfect 20 out of 20. She crosses the line, 1:38 back in 16th place. And Mika Lesova of Czechia, 6 mistakes. In behind, Perrin also skiing very fast today. I think Perrin one of the fastest, or she certainly started the fastest and deteriorated ever so slightly as the race went on. And a wonderful lunge for the line there from Kafka and Dietersberger of Switzerland and Germany. And Shihas there of Ukraine crossing the line. Kafka was wearing bib 32, so she started outside the top 30 and has managed to make it into 21st position. She won't be the last, as Gondolo of Italy, she started bib number 34, and she's made it into the top 30, as well as Selina Ganner of Austria. Bugeaud and Wolf. Bugeaud skiing extremely fast, 8 mistakes to recuperate. And at the finish there we see Damika Morton. She crosses the line with only 2 penalties today. An exceptional result there from the Australian, finishing in 29th position. And that really is going to be a result to remember. Tierschmann of Canada and Dusseret of France crossing the line in 32nd and 33rd position, some 3.5 minutes behind, as we see some of these latter racers now coming in towards the finish. Chmiel of Ukraine and Krysova of Czechia now crossing 34th and 35th. And of those who started in the top 30 who have dropped down outside of it, Krysova of Czechia started bib number 8 with 5 mistakes. Has crossed the line in 35th. Horstad of Norway with a disappointing 9 mistakes out of 20. And Tanglander, she has matched that. And it's not the first time in a 4-shoot sequence that Tanglander has had a few more mistakes than she'd have liked. 9 misses in the individual, 9 misses today. As Lang of Finland now, she crosses the line with 5 errors, out-skied by the Norwegian and Swede. And Kivel there of Estonia missing 12, doing really exceptionally well, crossing the line in 42nd place. And she had a great ski time, very much up there, except for in the first lap, 12 seconds back, but marking the 7th fastest ski time in the second, as we can see there, Isla Cadell crossing the line with 7 penalties in a fantastic position, 47th. Her bib was 60th, and she's done very, very well there, as well as her sister Iona Cadell. And they cross the line pretty much together, 7 seconds separating the sisters. How's that for alliteration? And Iona Cadell, having competed in the Youth Olympics in Bucuriani and having some pretty incredible positions there. You can see the 2 sisters having a cuddle as they try and get their breath back. Now crossing the finish line in a relaxed fashion, Spitalar of Slovenia with 8 penalties today. These mass start events really can cause an upset on the shooting range. As you hear your opponents firing next to you, it creates the urge to get the targets down quickly. In 53rd position, we have Silo of Romania, and then Fransk of Australia in 54th. At this World Championships, she'll be very proud of her results. 41st position in the individual and a 49th in the sprint, earning her right to be here in this Mass Start 60. Of course, we have the youth men's 12-kilometer Mass Start 60 to follow this race. And then after that, in the afternoon, we have the junior men and women's Mass Start 60s. And there we see Clifford, Josie Clifford, with 10 penalties, adding an extra 1.5 kilometers onto her 9K. She won't be pleased with that, but she'll be satisfied with having qualified for this event and stood her ground, particularly in the early stages of the race, as Lanu Escalono of Spain also missing nearly 50%. Berg of Denmark now crossing the line, having missed only 7 targets, so struggling with her ski speed. Hakala of Finland with 8 penalties. And now, here's the unofficial results. Louisa Rochot taking the victory today with only 2 mistakes. And Lena Siegmund of Germany, hitting 19 out of 20, takes the silver and really pulled it together on her last lap. And Plechikova not able to withstand the furious pace of the German and losing that silver position that she came out of the range with to then secure herself a bronze medal. That is a medal for every single race that she has conducted in this Youth World Championships. Well done to Plechikova of Czechia. Further down the order, some results that we might not have expected to see. 39th there, we see Stina Horstad of Norway, 4 minutes and 9 seconds back after missing 9. Tanglander, who was just off the podium in the sprint in a 4th place, she finishes now in 40th. That's having worn bib 13, her averaged or her cumulative points from the races, putting her in a great spot for this race. And Tierschmann of Canada finishing below what her bib number might have predicted. But it was a day full of surprises. On chute number 3, we saw some complete upsets from the likes of Usera, Mikosolova, Trondrud, who struggled on the shooting range, but Rochot managed to hold her nerve throughout the duration, only missing 1 in her prone and 1 in her stand, 18 out of 20. Sigismund of Germany, she takes the silver medal ahead of Plechikova, doing fantastically well on that last lap to fend off the Czechian as she crosses the line with a grimace, a smile on her face. Who knows? This track is grueling. Well, if you enjoyed that, there's plenty more to come with 3 more races of the like this today, and the men's youth 12 kilometer is just around the corner. And that is going to get underway in just 22 minutes time. So do stick around to see the youth men's mass start 60 competition. 12 kilometers is the distance that they will cover. And we're going to see a similar format where the IBU takes their liberty to get the 30 later starters to shoot first, and that just prevents any congestion. But let's first hear from our winner
in the
today,
Youth Master 60. How does it feel to be a world champion?
It's so cool. It's amazing feeling. I've just dreamed about this title from a long time, so I'm very, very happy.
Now you have 3 medals at this World Championships. Did you believe that already?
No, it was my goal, but yes, it's so cool.
Congratulations again. Enjoy the day.
Thank you.
It's your goal to come away with 3 medals. That's a high goal and even harder to achieve, but she knows that she's capable of it. She's got the ski speed, second fastest skier on the track in the sprint. As she stands beside Plechikova and Sigismund of Germany. They'll be delighted with their success. Plechikova, to have received a medal in every single individual race of this championship, really has achieved above and beyond what I would have or could have expected. She skis well, and she also really does shoot well, or certainly well enough. Now, as these biathletes get ready to do their cool downs, the youth men are just getting ready to get started with only 20 minutes to go until the youth men get underway. They will be enjoying just a brief moment of time on the track where they can warm up and experience those corners before the race, before having to get into the start pen and get prepared for what is a enormous lineup. 60-person start. It's nothing to take lightly. And we've seen that some in the back end, the later starters managing to get themselves up into the top 30, and some who started in the top 30 falling back. And we can certainly expect a lot more drama. I have to really just go back to that shoot 3 and look again. It was such a shame for the leader at that point in the race. And that was Dussera of France, who finally ended this race all the way down in 33rd place. She was leading as she entered chute number 3. Mikulasova, she finished down in 18th, and that was after a really disastrous chute, missing 3 targets as well. Gaup, on the other hand, she came in 4th and had that sustained itself over the course of the race. Now you can see the men are starting to get themselves ready. And if you are awaiting the next race, it's not long to go until that gets started. Only until past. So a remaining 17 minutes until the beginning of the youth men's 12-kilometer 6-loop mass start 60. The overall medal tables currently standing with Norway having won 4 gold medals. That is not going to be affected today, but France, on the other hand, are now going to have another gold medal to their name. And they're in 2nd place on the medal table, with Germany in 3rd. And Germany now adding another silver, so that's 2 golds and 2 silvers for Germany overall. But just for the youths, we have Norway with 2 gold medals, but France with 2 golds and 2 silvers. That means France is now just opposed Norway of the overall medal order at this World Championships for the youths. It's tight competition, not just here at this championship, but on the World Cup as well, where I think France now is the dominant nation to look out for in terms of their average results, both men and women. And that has played itself out with France on the World Cup actually being 700 points, a pretty significant margin ahead of Sweden, who are in 2nd place for the women. Germany in 3rd with 6,200 points, and Norway all the way in 4th. And a similar picture for the men, with France winning the overall points, Nation Cup points, but only just ahead of Norway. So cumulatively, France really doing exceptionally well. Sweden still doing very, very well also.
15 minutes to the men's race. Start to pick up your transponder. We go to start 5 minutes.
So now, go and collect your transponders is the brief from the race director there. So with 15 minutes remaining until the start, do get ready and prepare yourself for what's going to promise to be a lot of action as the youth men, they get ready.
Ja. Ikke nogen anden.
Nein.
Nein.
Minuter till start. 10 minutes till start. Segrarna så är det också på första starten då. Favoriter är de första som nummer 3 givetvis Ulreren. Men vi har fransmannen nummer 2 i sprinten. Han nummer 4 som nummer 2 Ryssland som brons i sprinten. Efter Korbi Kühler, tysken. Han har 5, 6 i
Well, for those of you just joining us, welcome to the Youth Men's 12 kilometer mass start 60 competition today here at the Swedish National Biathlon Arena. The youth men will get underway for 12 kilometers, 6 laps, and that is going to be over the course of the next half an hour. The 60 strong mass start proving to be a highly unpredictable event, as we saw in the women's mass start 60 earlier on today. And that victory claimed by the French, and Louisa Richaud responsible for that incredibly strong performance with only 2 mistakes in the entirety of the race. Oscar Bergman of Sweden now getting his rifle checked, and Lucas Tannheimer, he's also getting his rifle checked. So they'll have seen what just went by and will be thinking tactics, thinking about how they're going to handle the pressure. And they've been here now, competed head to head. They know what they're up against. Tove Roisland of Norway. They'll be familiar with their competitors, and familiarity can certainly breed confidence, but it can also create some anxiety. Galicia there of Poland, cheerfully receiving his rifle back. And Antonin Guy, one of the biathletes we've expected to see so much from, wears bib 1, and the reason he wears bib 1, almost taking somebody out there with his rifle as he threw it onto his back so fast, he's wearing bib 1 because they will wear the bib that corresponds with their overall position at this World Championship. So the points that they accrued in the individual and the sprint are added together, and then those with the highest points will start with the lowest bibs, 1 being the best, all the way down to 60. And some people won't have raced, so some lucky outsiders who were just below the 60th position will have received an invitation to compete today, an invitation they would have gladly accepted. And the support staff now are making their way out onto the shooting range. And if you haven't joined us there to see the very exciting women's race, which you should definitely go back and see, I'll just briefly overview the format. And that is, the top 30 will do 2 laps of 2 kilometers. That's 4K before coming in and shooting their first prone. Whereas the back end, the 30 wearing bib 31 all the way down to 60, they will do 2K and they will shoot their first prone. And after they've both completed 6 kilometers, that is when they will converge and come in and shoot their second prone all together in what is then essentially as a pursuit format. They'll filter into the lane that corresponds with their position in the race, like in a regular mass start. But at the beginning, they will not do that. They will go on the mat that corresponds with their bib number. So 5 minutes here at the Swedish National Biathlon Arena. The youth men's 12 kilometer mass start 60 is only 5 minutes away from commencing. Let's take a look at the race course. And we can see that instead of, as the women's did, took a right at the high point, after that steep section, it'll take a left, swooping round the course a little bit further, allowing some more space for catching up with opponents, or indeed getting away from their opponents, whatever is the case on an individual basis. The air temperature 4 degrees, and the snow so slushy and so torn up that the race officials have decided to salt sections of the track. That chemical reaction creating a hard surface for the snow, almost like sheet ice, whereas it was formerly just complete slush. The French striding out now with good time. 4 minutes till the start, into their position. Taking their time, there's no rush. Antonin Guy wearing bib 1, and Lucas Tannheimer wearing bib 2. Wearing bib 3 is Galicia of Poland. He's not been off the flower ceremony so far in this championship. Second place silver medal in the individual and a 5th place in the sprint. And that's having missed 3. This man knows how to ski. And Galicia had the fastest ski speed in the sprint competition and the 3rd fastest, only 14 seconds back in the individual. And it's these faster skiers that can really put pressure on the rest of the field in the shooting. But it's important to be able to hold it together on the shooting range. Bib numbers 31 to 60 will enter the shooting range first. Tom Smith there, Great Britain, the only with a photo to his name, and he's starting with bib number 56, having earned his right to start in today's race. We'll get to experience the pressure, the experience that will very much be experienced by Camille Gratulot-Minisolet of France. 5th in the individual, 6th in the sprint. He wants a podium, as too does Taras Takrusik of Ukraine, with his 6th in the individual. And now Kontos of Italy. In 6th place so far in total points now, Corby Kubler of Germany, standing side by side next to Roysland. Kubler hasn't been on the podium yet. He's had 2 fourths, so that's painful. And in the sprint, Roysland came 3rd. Now Collier with his 2nd place in the sprint, 3rd in the individual. He's going to want to make that a gold now. He's then going to have every medal that there is to be had. And Antonin Guy in the individual winning, but not racing in the mixed relay. Lucas Tannheimer has had a really fantastic World Championships, winning in the sprint. And that was ahead of Carlier by 14 seconds when all was said and done. And Galicia of Poland, the 17-year-old. Actually, Guy of France, Antonin Guy, is 19 years old, so 2 years older than Tannheimer and Galicia. The age certainly does make a difference if you think about how many hours of skiing they can accumulate in just that 2 years. But not long to go now until the youth men's 12-kilometer mass start 60. And now they are underway. The youth men's 12-kilometer mass start 60 gets started, and we're going to see how this drama unfolds. Look at the congestion there. How many are getting started? And you may be wondering, how can 60 athletes fit on a 30-lane range? Well, on the first prone, they'll come in at different times. But look at the speed of Galicia there at the front. It looks like he's going out so fast, trying to hurt this field and make it simply impossible for everyone who's suffering there. You can see the tangle of skis from the Constantina effect, which is when they enter a hill, the ones at the back get slowed right down, just like a coiled spring or a slinky going down the stairs. Now Galicia really pushing the pace, giving way for Flavio Guy, who's wearing bib 11, to come through and get himself to the front. Those eager to also fight hard early. As we see another fall, I think that was from Vogel of Switzerland, although hard to see. And another fall, that was bib number 41, that was McCulloch of Canada, and these falls keep happening because there's not much space and there's a lot of athletes. And there, the American also having his ski stood on. I think that was Anderson wearing bib number 35. Now, Galicia knows that he is skiing faster than almost everybody on average over the course of this race. Only the likes of Tannheimer really standing in with a good chance of being able to keep up with him, as well as Guy of France and Los Bears of Latvia, also a contender for that fast ski speed. And there you can see him coming by on the left-hand side, but there's so many names and so many athletes, it's almost hard to know where to look. Gratelou, Minnesole of France, he's a quick skier. He's up there wearing bib number 7 on the right-hand side of your screen now. And Tannheimer on the left-hand side of your screen, bib number 11. That is Flavio Guy. And he's not had an individual podium, and he's not had a team podium, but he skis quick, and perhaps he skis too quick, struggling to get the targets down. Now the 800-meter mark, there has been something of a shuffle, but not too much. Los Bears of Latvia wearing bib 26, he's climbed up to 13th position. And Saarinen of Finland has gone from 17th to 28th. That to me is a good sign. There's no need to go so crazy at the start here, unless of course we can expect Galicia of Poland to hit all the targets today, which according to his track record is less than likely. Then going easy on the first lap is a good strategy. Galicia, however, he knows that he can afford to hurt the field. He can afford to push the pace, because that can serve him well, even if he does miss targets. Because he can withstand that fatigue as all of these 6 laps go by. It's really 5 laps between the chutes, but one of those laps being a 4K instead of a 2K. And just a difference between the leading 30 and the second group of 30 as to when they do that 4K.
Here is the field led by number 3, Gregor Skalica.
And you'll see now, as they come towards the shooting range, already there is a large gap opening from Guy at the 1.5 kilometer mark, setting a time of 3 minutes and 32 seconds. Has already opened up a gap of 36 seconds down to Shkarin of Kazakhstan in bib number 50, or in position 59 and bib 59 for that matter. But the range means nothing on this occasion as they ski right through it. The top 30 bibs will not be attending the shooting range now. But you will see that those from bibs 31 to 60 are taking a left turn. If they wear bib 31, for example, they will go onto lane 1. If they wear bib 27, they'll go onto lane 57, lane 27, I should say. The 2 kilometer mark. Time that is preliminary and can change. Galicia is leading, but the shooting range is now taking place as Haug of Norway misses his first shot but gets the remaining 4. Kjellberg of Norway, he's gone 4 out of 4 and manages to get the 5th, as Jelinek of Czechia also goes 5 out of 5. Hurta of Czechia is going to be hurting with those 3 misses and has to 450 meters of penalty to contend with. Buska of Czechia goes 5 out of 5. Janssen of Sweden is 5 out of 5, and Anderson of USA, he goes clear. Redkin of Kazakhstan, he goes clear. Tom Smith of Great Britain misses 2 out of 5. And now at the 2 kilometer mark, we're going to start seeing some of those outsider bibs, Anderson there among the first to come through. But leading the way of the shooters, Jeleník of Czechia, followed by Buska of Czechia. And Haug of Norway in 4th place of those who started in the later bibs. We're going to see some technical issues here on bib number 32. The rifle dysfunctioning, and a spare rifle you would expect to have been brought to the Swede. So it's unclear why that hasn't been done. Guy is side by side with Galicia of Poland, accruing a 10-second advantage over Tannheimer and Gundersen of Germany and Norway. Gratulu just behind, or Gratulu Minasole, I should say, also deciding that this pace is a little bit too fast for this stage in the game. And I don't blame them whatsoever. And that's because Grzegorz Galicia has decided to create an environment of pain from the gun. And now, as these biathletes are coming around the lap, they're going to be going in to shoot their first prone. But I'm going to get you up to speed now on some of those biathletes who have come out of the shooting range. So far, it's still Jeleník as the leader of those who have been in to shoot prone already, with Buska in 2nd place, Haug of Norway in 3rd, and Kustal of Poland in 4th. Still tight with Anderson in 5th among them, and that's just 13 seconds down on Jeleník's time. And now coming up the final incline towards the checkpoint. 3.5 kilometers. The last checkpoint before shoot number 1, and 10 seconds ahead of Gundersen, who's decided to respond. He's claimed back 2 seconds since the 2.8k marker. That's 700 meters, 2 seconds. It suggests that Galicia and Guy up at the front are deciding to take their foot off the gas just a little bit. Losbers of Latvia, he's done very well, climbing from bib number 26 all the way into 4th place in terms of ski speed till this stage. Carlier, who's had 3 medals, 3 races at this championships, currently in 5th position.
Decimated group behind, led by Leo
Contos of Italy is by his side. Contos wearing bib 9. He's had some pretty good average positions, 7th and a 14th, but not so good in the mixed relay. But now for the first visit to the shooting range, we have Grzegorz Galicia of Poland going to go down onto lane number 3, taking advantage of the ski speed advantage they've created. Will likely have shots down before some are even in position. And it's good shooting so far from Guy of France, who goes 5 out of 5. Fantastic rhythm, fantastic pace despite that early ski speed. All targets go down. Gundersen of Norway looking like the next to match that with his perfect 5 out of 5. It's going to be Norway chasing, but Galicia clearly suffering on the skis there, on the range there, missing 2. Guy, Antonin Guy, also clearing 5 for 5. Tannheimer goes 5 for 5 as well. So the German victor of races gone by now putting himself into 5th place, just 15 seconds off the lead. with Hulshoff of Canada in third place, just 13 seconds back. And Hulshoff wearing bib 15, so racing above his station, doing himself proud to be there. Kubler of Germany, now with bib, or now in position number 7. He's missed one target, and we're starting to see the first of those who missed to come out, with Gratelu Minosolet of France having missed one and is coming out 36 seconds back in 9th position, as Galicia, who led all the way round from the gun, comes out now in 15th place, paying the price for 2 penalty loops. Sewell of United States of America doing well, coming out in 23rd, but Anderson of USA also shooting the perfect 5 out of 5 in the prone. He comes out in 21st position. And now it's at the end of shooting 1 that we can see when the times converge. Right now you're looking at the race leader, and Flavio Gai hit all 5 targets. He's wearing bib 11, and he's being chased down by Tannheimer wearing bib 2, who's skiing very well and has got himself ahead of Gunderson, who's wearing bib 16 and appears to have that lovely Scandinavian technique on the right hand side of your screen on that close-up. Tannheimer 12 seconds back, having exited the range 15.5 back. He's closing time on the leader. And Antonin Guy wearing bib number 1 in 5th place, having missed no targets. Barbiru of Romania doing very well, skiing well, shooting well, and he comes out 33.7 seconds back, as Gratelu Minosolet of France, the first of the missers, still in a good position, 36.5 seconds back. And we're going to see whether any of the outsiders have entered into this shuffle. Well, yes, indeed they have, with Schellenberg of Norway has come all the way from bib 38 to be up there in the mix with the leaders. And that is also true of Jelenik of Czechia, and Buska, bib number 34 of Czechia, also joining those in the leading bunch. Haug 47 seconds back despite 1 miss. He's up there as well in 14th place. And Jansson of Sweden hitting the perfect 5 out of 5. Having not done so well for the Swede in previous races. But now, let's take a look back at Flavio Gai, who's leading this race. But he's being chased by some pretty significant names. He came 9th in the individual, and Gai didn't even come in the top 15 in the sprint. 18th place on that occasion. But Tannheimer, 12.8 seconds back now at this checkpoint, isn't closing any distance on the race lead. And perhaps that is a strategic choice to say, I'm going to make my damage or cause my damage to the opponents on the shooting range. But I have a really good feeling about Gunderson there in 16th place. 16th place in terms of his average scores. He's currently in 3rd place in this race and is 13.6 seconds behind the lead. He just looks very calm. You can see that nice panoramic view there of the shooting range, as our leader Flavio Gai is entering for his 2nd shoot and his last visit in the prone position, still working hard as he comes into the range. He goes into lane 1. Everyone's going to now filter in onto the lanes that correspond with their position in the race. Just readjusting his right elbow. It didn't seem to be sitting comfortably. Flavio Guy has now got company. Gundersen of Norway getting in ahead of the German Tannheimer, but Guy is unfazed. 4 out of 4 becomes 5 out of 5. Guy of France is leaving the range, having hit the perfect 10 out of 10. And just as my confidence skyrockets, Gundersen's performance plummets with 2 misses there in his prone. Tannheimer having just as good a visit to the range, perhaps slightly slower until his last shot, and he misses his final, having hit the previous 4. 4 out of 5 for Tannheimer. And now Antonin Guy, the next potential to get 5 out of 5, but just misses that last shot. As Gratulou Mine-Soleil, he hits 4 out of 5. And it's looking like Flavio Guy is going to be increasing his lead quite significantly, with Galicia of Poland missing his last shot, meaning that that comeback is not going to be on just yet. Carlier of France, he goes 5 out of 5, the next to do so alongside Tarasuk of Ukraine and Buska of Czechia. Finally, there are others to join the Frenchman exiting the range. Tannheimer, the first among them, 46.9 seconds back. And Guy of France, 57 seconds behind, with Tarasuk of Ukraine still having not missed a single target. Really demonstrating to us that the ski speed is very high at the sharp end of this race. And Galicia in 10th place, 1 minute and 17 back with 3 misses. Kjellberg of Norway, still only 1 mistake. And in 11th place, Haug in 12th, also of Norway, but with 2 errors. Anderson of USA there having a bit of a nightmare, 4 misses out of 5. What a shame for him. But now, what is Flavio Guy going to do with this significant lead that he's created for himself? 46.9 seconds, let's call it 47 seconds ahead of Tannheimer. And Flavio Guy had the fastest ski speed in the individual, as I previously mentioned, the 3rd in the sprint, but his shooting has been letting him down. And Tannheimer, on the other hand, has already got a gold medal, and that came from the sprint just 2 days ago. But look at this, big gap. There's a lot of space between the leader, Flavio Guy, and Tannheimer of Germany. It's going to be about 50 seconds down. That gap really increasing, and 50.6 seconds. But some of these chasers are equally fast on their skis, and they're not going to settle for Flavio Guy having a victory just yet. We've still got 2 visits to the shooting range still to come, and for those shoots we have both of them in the stand position. Gratulou Mine-Soleil of France, he's missed 2, he's still up there. Same with Carlier of France. The French generally skiing very well today. Buska of Czechia, now in 6th place, and Tarasuk not missing any targets as well as Buska, down in 7th. Gundersen, the first of the Norwegians at this point, with 4 Norwegians coming in quick succession, with Schellenberg and Haug in 11th and 12th. Losberg's there in 11th. Jelinek of Czechia in 14th. But among the big missers, having missed 3 so far, we have Kubler of Germany. He's just come past the checkpoint, he's missed 3, and he's found himself almost a minute behind Galicia of Poland. who's 1 minute and 22 seconds off the lead. Zorgov of Bulgaria coming by. And now the psychological dynamics that Flavio Guy has created for himself is that it's now his race to lose. And that is always the difficulty of leading, because with an advantage of 50 seconds over your competitors, you can expect to have 2 penalties and still come out either in the lead or thereabouts. And that offers a bit of a safety cushion, but can sometimes lead to complacency. The kind of complacency which we are hoping now not to see from Flavio Guy as he enters the shooting range for France and for his 3rd shoot of the day. He's gonna get into the stand position, and now he's fighting to maintain his lead of 50 seconds. The wind is up and it's sporadic. It's blowing left and right. First miss is a big one, top right. Second one, big one, bottom left. And it's a disaster already for Flavio Guy, who allows the pressure to get to him and is going to have to go round 450 meters worth of penalty loops. And that is in part due to the wind, but that safety cushion that we talked about has now evaporated. Flavio Guy is going to potentially lose his lead, but Tannheimer is going to need to get all those targets down. Tannheimer, of course, having won the sprint, knows what it's like to handle the pressure. He also took the 3rd leg in the mixed relay. He was on the penalty loop in that occasion, but Germany still getting a silver medal. The wind is still up, but only marginally. Tannheimer gets the first 2 shots apparently comfortably, as Gratuleux Minnesolet of France, he misses 2. Tannheimer goes 5 out of 5. He's on the chase and only has 5 shots left to go. And in fact, it looks as though Tannheimer is going to come out in the lead, a position that he is familiar with. As Antonin Guy misses 3, just like Flavio Guy has done. And Lucas Tannheimer is now in the lead. Gunderson of Norway, his graphics never came up, but we'll update you about his shooting as Galicia of Poland raises his hand. There's something wrong. Galicia there's been cross-lane firing, and that appeared to me to be one of the Norwegians having shot on Galicia's target. Now this is very significant, because Galicia now with his hand raised is waiting for his targets to be cleared, and he is going to have time rewarded to him, but he has not been able to communicate that someone else has shot on his target. That target needs to get cleared, and cleared fast, for Galicia to get his shots down. And forgive me, I didn't actually see who was responsible for the cross-lane firing, but I think it was Gunderson, or perhaps it was Schellberg. Oh, this is a nightmare for Galicia. It's really not good that he's still not been able to get his shots down. They need to clear those targets so that he can shoot. But this also means that every second that he's losing now will be rewarded to him. He's got a lot of extra recovery, and if he gets these targets down, we're going to watch him shooting. If he can get the targets down, then it means that nobody will know where he is. Let's just see, does he go onto the penalty loop? We're looking at Galicia wearing the red trousers, and it looks like he's got all 5 targets. Now this could change things up. Galicia in 13th place, 1 minute and 49 seconds back. He's going to be rewarded time, and now the support staff of other nations need to get that information out onto the track so that nobody in the top 15 is complacent, because Galicia, even if he's physically beside them, he is going to get time back and is going to be placed ahead of them. And that is information they are going to want to know pronto. A hard thing to communicate, but Tannheimer, he just needs to focus on doing what he has already done so well. That cross-lane firing from, I believe, Schellenberg is going to be simply considered as a miss for every one of those shots. But if he skipped past the penalty loop thinking he hit all 5 targets, he could not be more wrong. Each of those hits is considered to be actually a miss because it wasn't on his lane, and that is a 2-minute penalty for every one of those misses. And if he did no penalty loops, that's going to be 10 minutes added to, and I believe, and we'll have it confirmed later, Schellenberg of Norway's time. What a shame for the Polish biathlete. Schellenberg now crossing the 8.8 kilometer, 1 minute and 22 back. So far, there's no asterisks by his name with any information. So perhaps it wasn't Schellenberg who cross-lane fired. We'll just have to see, but I did see the Norwegian graphic not displaying any information, not registering any hits or misses. Galicia now 1:44, that seconds back off Tannheimer's time. Tannheimer now on your screen. Here's your leader coming to the 9.5 kilometer mark of this 12 kilometer race on the second last lap. Now Galicia got a long recovery in the shooting range and has climbed from 13th to 9th. Lucas Tannheimer now getting into the tuck. Only a little bit more work to do before he comes into the range, with Flavio Guy in second place, having had a nightmare on his last visit in stand. And look at this man right here, Galicia. What's going to happen? The excitement of not knowing how much time he's being rewarded really does mean that the podium positions are not safe today. Nobody is safe. Galicia can win this race, even though he's 1:44 back. I suspect he lost something, considering he came into shoot 3 1 minute and 23 seconds back, and then he came out 1:49. A little bit surprising, perhaps. It seemed like he lost over a minute, but maybe not. Tannheimer now, he ended up on the penalty loop in the mass mixed relay on his leg in the stand position, using all 3 spare rounds. But he claimed the victory yesterday in the sprint, and one of those misses came in the stand position. It's all to play for as Tannheimer is shooting for the victory. As Flavio Guy settles next to him to apply pressure. It's a miss from Tannheimer. The wind is up, and it's a second miss from Tannheimer. Guy has missed as well. Lots of misses now from the 2 leaders. It looks like we're going to get a shuffle, as both the Frenchman and the German have got 3 misses to their name. Tannheimer resettles, gets the 4th shot, but it's too little, too late. That is 4 penalty loops for the German, as Carlier senses an opportunity to claim the victory today in these windy conditions. He misses his 4th shot, gets the 5th, and now it's going to be hard to beat. Carlier, with only 1 mistake, has only Gratulu Minnesole, who could stand to challenge him, but will not, having missed now 2 out of his 5, and getting 3 out of 5 in total. Gratulu Minnesole is going to be going around the penalty loop, fighting for that podium. And now let's look at Galicia. He has an asterisk next to his name. He's in 6th place. And we will wait to see what the time difference or what's been rewarded to him. But Schellenberg has missed 2 out of his 5 so far. as Leo Carlier comes out in the lead. Kjellberg misses 3. Galicia needs to get these targets, but he's missed 3 as well. The pressure getting to everyone alongside these horrible wind conditions. Galicia, having hit all 5 on his previous visit in the stand, misses a significant 4 and is now out of contention for a podium, which is looking to be a French trio. What a day for the French biathletes. That is following their gold medal this morning with the youth women's 9-kilometer mass start 60 gold. France 1, 2 and 3. Tannheimer, after completing his dizzying 4 penalty loops, comes out in 4th position, 1 minute and 4 seconds back. Unlikely he can close that gap down on Gratulu Mino Soleil of France. And Anding of Germany now coming out in 5th place. And perhaps an unexpected Belchinski of Bulgaria. He comes out 1 minute and 29 seconds back off the lead. Handling the first of the starters outside the top 30. A position that never would have been the case had this only been a 30-leg mass start. Now, Kjellberg. I don't want to accuse him again until an asterisk appears by his name of cross-lane firing. I don't know who it was, but Kjellberg there coming out in 8th place, starting with bib number 38 for having missed 5 targets. Leo Carlier of France is fighting now for the victory today. 4 penalties, but it was enough. They came in early. He missed 2 in his first prone. He cleared the next ones. That could be because his 0 was slightly off, and then he received information and made an adjustment. And Flavio Guy, despite 6 penalties, is in silver medal position. And with Flavio Guy going 0, 0, 3, 3, only hitting of 10 stands, 4 targets, but getting 100% in the prone. Tannheimer of Germany isn't going to be best pleased to be off the podium by 1 place, but there's little he can do about it now. With his victory in the sprint, he still has a gold medal to his name and a silver in the mixed relay. But had he not been on the penalty loop, it could very well be the case that Germany might have fought for the gold medal. 25.9 seconds back off the lead on that occasion. So Tannheimer might be disappointed nonetheless, as we see the wind is really picking up. The track conditions are firm, and that's as a result not of the weather, but of manipulation from the IBU race committee, having put salt down on the track. That salt, a chemical now that can condense the top layer surface, as Leo Carlier crosses the 11.5k mark with just 500 meters to go. And here's your silver medal position with Flavio Guy of France 22 seconds behind the lead, and fending off teammate Gratulu Mino Soleil of France. As we talked about earlier, the French are dominating the World Cup as well, winning the men's overall national cup points. Gratulu Mino Soleil crosses the line 37 seconds back. And he claimed a silver medal in the sprint competition, a bronze in the individual, and a bronze in the mixed relay, a medal in every race. Now he has a gold to his name. Leo Carlier, with 4 mistakes, is your gold medalist today in the youth men's 12-kilometer mass start 60. His teammate, he'll be pleased to see the triple French success today as he stumbles forward exhaustedly to embrace his teammate, despite what was some pretty sketchy shooting there from Guy. And Grattelumino Soleil also struggling on the range with 6 penalties, 1-1-2-2 in that order. And this man was shooting beautifully, 14 hits out of 15. And at the final moment of greatest pressure, it all faded away with 4 mistakes. 5 in total for the German, but a gold medal already to his name. And now an individual medal also to Grattelumino Soleil, where he only had a medal in the mixed relay previously. Guy had no medals in this championship so far, and now has a silver individual medal. Will be chuffed with that, no doubt. Yeah, we still, with Balenchigi crossing the line in 5th, some of these positions can still be altered, with Anding now in 6th and Kjellberg in 7th. It remains to be told who was our cross-lane firer, but here is Galicia now, who potentially has an adjusted time. It looks like that has been factored in already. We'll see where it comes in, as Hulshov of Canada has a wonderful result for the Canadian, and Zorgov of Bulgaria also has a wonderful result, but perhaps naive there of Antonin Guy to chill before the line, unaware that Galicia has actually gone in ahead of Tannheimer, having so much time rewarded. Tannheimer cruising across the line. He wouldn't have made a difference though, thankfully, with 15 seconds. But look at all these names crashing in across the line, tangling up with the sponsorship boards there. That was a painful collision. I think Gunderson there, having missed 9, and his time adjusted, significantly adjusted. And 5 of those misses having came all in one visit to the range. I apologize to Kjellberg, having accused him of being the cross-lane firer. It was Gunderson of Norway, and his time is just going to get further and further back, but I'm a little bit unclear exactly how that time has been adjusted, as 2 minutes per failed penalty loop is the time that should be given. That is unless he did go around the penalty loop aware of his error somewhat. But we will keep you up to date with that, and let's revisit one of those early fantastic results there from Hulshov. Finished in the top 10, wearing bib 15 of Canada. Antonin Guy of France doing well today with 7 penalties, skiing fast. Not as well as Galicia, who'll be gutted with his 4 penalties at the end there. Schlepko of Canada coming across the line in 31st place. So among those who started outside the first 30, the first to cross the line, Luca Andling, wearing bib number 47, crosses the line in 7th place. Sewell of USA with 5 mistakes. As we see Gunderson picking up his skis after that collision with the sponsorship boards. And he walks away. Now, after having claimed the gold medal in the mixed relay and an 8 from the individual, Redkin of Kazakhstan with 6 penalties. We really watch this sprint finish now. And Johan Jansen of Norway fighting against Kim Beck of Estonia. Really showing how fast the leaders were skiing. If you think Flavio Guy missing 6, crossing the line, also missing 6 was Jansen, finishing 4 minutes and 53 seconds behind the Frenchman. And now another sprint across the line as Shkarin of Kazakhstan was battling it out against Rudskins for these minor positions, but mattering nonetheless. Bib 25 now competing for another sprint finish against Nordlander, but just managing to creep across the line ahead. And of those names that we might have expected to do well today, Roysland wearing bib 5 and Kubler wearing bib 6. Kubler with 26th position and Roysland with 27th position. And these Norwegians, having come from the Norwegian Cup, and for the most part, deciding that the Norwegian Cup is the best place to be in terms of comparing themselves against who is essentially the best in the world. France, time and time again, is proving themselves to be one of the best nations for development in the world. And that could not be more blatantly so after today's performance. France now with 3 gold medals in the youth category, putting themselves ahead of Norway in the overall medal table. France now with 9 medals in total. What a phenomenal and pretty dominant result from the French. As we see Smith cross the line, 10 penalties, more so than he would have liked today. But 55th place and only 6 minutes and 49 back, with a difference of only 6 targets more than Carlier of France. Norway nowhere to be seen in the flower ceremony either. And Vogel of Switzerland also with 10 penalties. I mean, we can really see the average miss today. I'm not going to be able to calculate it on the spot, but superficially looking at it, it appears that we have a cumulative or an average miss of something like 7 targets, which is a significant margin. Not the same can be said for the female competitors this morning. Leo Carlier, your winner today. Flavio Guy, silver medalist, and Camille Gratulou-Minasole, your bronze medalist. All 3 Frenchmen taking the lead today. And France taking the gold medal in the women's Mass Start 60, as the track is already being skied on by the Norwegian wax, or all of the wax technicians. They aren't allowed to put any more wax on the skis, but they are allowed to test the structure of the skis and the skis themselves. And that's what they're doing right now. They will, their athletes, some of them will also test their own skis. So do join us for this afternoon. We have the junior men and junior women's Mass Start 60 competitions, which promise to be just as exciting as these events. It's such a dynamic race format, with the possibility of so many creeping their way into that top 10 position as we saw today. But with so many plot twists and so many changes of the leader, shooting number 1, the leader coming out of that, Flavio Guy. Gunderson of Norway was in 2nd, and Horshoff from Canada was in 3rd. After shoot 2, we had 2 guys, literally both from France, and they were in the top 3 positions, but Tannheimer now at that point shooting into 2nd, a position which he managed to increase to 3rd after shoot 3, with Guy in 2nd place and Carlier of France joining them in the podium spots in 3rd. But the main changes came on the final visit to the range. Carlier having climbed his way forward, secured a victory today. That was having only missed one target in his final visit to the range. And here's your winner, your gold medalist, Flavio Guy, your silver medalist, despite missing 6 in stand. And Gratulumina Soleil of France, also skiing an extra 600 meters today, claiming the bronze medal. Well, France is the team to beat. And we're about to hear the French national anthem.
Leo, for winning the gold medal at the
Carlier.
Youth World Championships in the Masters 60. Did you recognize that you can be the champion when you came to the last shooting?
Oh yes, the last shooting is very hard because the wind is present. It's an amazing day today because the Masters is my favorite race. And after the bronze medal and the silver medal, finally the gold medal in the Masters, yes, I'm really happy.
And you can share it with your teammates. How does it feel?
Oh yes, my teammate is very strong. In the last loop is hard because Flavio Guy is not long for me, and yes, I'm really happy.
Congratulations again.
Thanks.
Well, it's nice to hear confirmation of how to pronounce Guy instead of Guy, but with that such a common word, it's easy to anglify it. But as we heard there from the Frenchman, he was intimidated by the fact that Flavio Guy, one of the fastest skiers at this event, if not the fastest alongside Galicia of Poland, you don't want to be hunted down by the fastest guy on the track. Carlier not managing to get into the top 15. Oh, excuse me, that's wrong. He had the 5th fastest ski time in the individual. And he had the 7th fastest in the sprint. So the man knows how to ski and how to fend off his teammate. They'll have trained together plenty. And do join us for the Junior Mastart 60 races this afternoon. I've been Scott Dixon and I've very much enjoyed taking you through these events. And we're going to enjoy the medal ceremony soon to come. So do stick around for that if you want to see the French, after having had such a fantastic day. Like I said before, they're now at the top of the medal ceremony with 3 golds, bronze and silver medals. And Norway in 2nd place with just 2 golds. I say just, it's impressive, but not relative to the utter dominance of the French team. And this is just foreshadowing the future, I think, where France is going to be, for the next decade, the team to beat on the World Cup. They're dominant in the men's field with 6,975 points. That's nearly 700 points ahead of Sweden. Excuse me, that's in the women's field. And for the French, they're over 122 points, or exactly 122 points ahead of the Norwegians. They're the best team in the world. There's no disputing that. Yes, Norway has a lot of strong men, and that's going to be well and truly showcased over the next 5 or 6 years. But Norway not quite matching that strength in the women's field, with Germany ahead of them in the women's field by 200 points. This is the senior that we're talking about now. But if we take a look at the Junior Cup, it tells a very different story. France, of course, still at the top, and that's the same. Norway nowhere to be seen, and that's because Norway are quite isolated in Scandinavian Cups. They compete against each other, favouring that strategy, that approach, rather than travelling around Europe and losing days of training to flying. Perhaps a wise strategy, but now they're depriving themselves the opportunity for regular competition against the French, and I wonder if that's going to have an impact on their strategy.
So there has been some adjustment due to crossfire for the Gregos Galicia, and
we're hearing now
adjusted time he ends up in 4th place. The problem was crossfire on one target. So he will be number 4 off on the official list. But the triple for France, there is no doubt about Kaliagi, Gratelup, Manisoy, and Galicia, Tannheimer, Belsinski should be the 6th to the ceremony.
So we just heard there from the stadium announcement that Galicia of Poland had his time adjusted. We already saw that, but that's one of the critical elements of a race like this. Somebody like Galicia is potentially going to be rewarded extra time for errors that occur on the range.
6, Anding 7, Schäfer 8, Hauser 9, Söder 10. Antonini is 11, Held 12, Jelinek 13, Kontos 14, Lois 15, Loster 16, Tarasuk 17. Bergman, the best SWE 18, Malek 19, Boska 20, Kirjavainen 21, Pina 22, Steiner 23, Peter 24, Gustav 25, Kiefer 26, Rösland 27, Reimers 28, Kurta 29, and Saarinen. Soon we will have the ceremonies both for the yacht ladies and the yacht men. Så säger jag då att nästa start juniordamerna är 14:40, så det är lite drygt 2 timmars paus nu efter, eller 2 timmar efter sen. About 2 hours break after the ceremonies before we do have the next race, which the junior women's must start, followed by the junior men's must start. Then we will also hand over the gloves for the must start cup and the individual cups.
So, congratulations, and then after Biathlon we will start. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Junior World Championships Biathlon 2025 in Östersund, Sweden. The prize-giving ceremony for the youth women 9 kilometer must start 60. The medals will be awarded by ideal board member Mr. Tore Bøyland from Norway, accompanied by Martin Olsson, chairman of the organizing Simon Plesakova. We continue with 4, 5, and 6 in 4th place. Representing Germany also, Melina Gaup. Number 5, representing Switzerland, Lena Baumann. Number 6, also from Germany, Sydney Wüstling. Ladies and gentlemen, to honor the new youth world champion, the national anthem of France. Congratulations, ladies, and we will take some photos before we continue with the men's. The ceremony. continue with the prize giving ceremony for the youth men 12 kilometer must start 60. Once again, the medals will be awarded by IBU board member Mr. Tore Bøygard from Norway, accompanied by Martin Olsson, chairman of the winner of the race and a new youth mustard world champion from France, Leo Carlier. Please wait for France. Ladies and gentlemen, to honor the new world champion mustard youth for men, the national anthem of France.